guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I wasn't sure if we were gonna do the thing, but we're doing the thing. Welcome to my reading vlog for The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. If you don't know what this book is and you still clicked on this video, thank you. Hi, I'm happy to have you, but you shouldn't stay. This is the third book in the Cruel Prince series, and this isn't going to be like my weekly reading vlogs. Whenever I do a dedicated reading vlog for a book, it's going to be full of spoilers. And you can tell I was a little excited to get on with this video because my hair is still wet. But yeah, I'm going to be talking about this book as I read it, my reactions to like specific things happening in the book. So please don't watch this if you haven't read this book yet, if you haven't started the series yet, even if you think you don't care about being spoiled, still please leave. I care about your reading experience more than I care about the views on this video, and these books you just don't want to be spoiled for. You just don't. So yeah, I'm really excited about this book. Obviously, I read the first one and the second one within like a 2-day span, and I listened to them both on audiobook. I'm reading this one physically, so I'm interested to see if my opinion differs reading it this way, and I've actually already started the book. I had planned to make this reading vlog, so it's not like it was a last minute decision or something, but I sat down thinking like, oh, I'll read like the prologue and the first chapter or something, and then we'll start the vlog, and then I ended up sitting there and reading the first 8 chapters. So now I'm about 75 pages in, so let's get caught up on what has happened so far. Well, for one thing, I feel like she's done a pretty good job of relatively subtly like referring back to things that had happened in the past book, because I have kind of forgotten, and sometimes when it's like too on the nose and it goes on for too long, it can be kind of annoying, but it's been okay so far. So we start out with Jude in the mortal world taking on these like odd life-threatening jobs to pay rent, and we have Oak saying he doesn't want to be king. And honestly, I just feel so bad for Jude. Like if this were me, I would just be like laying around like not knowing what to do with myself, like all depressed and everything. And then she goes, her mission is for Grima Mog, I have no idea if that's how you say it, and she has her little battle with her on the roof, which I enjoyed seeing Jude like kind of back in her element. And I feel like that's not just something she would throw in here randomly at the beginning. I feel like that character is going to be important later on. Then this is what I really want to talk about, when she gets back home and Taryn is there. I don't know about you guys, but I freaking hate Taryn's guts. I have no sympathy for this sister. I don't like her. I think part of it is I hate the trope in YA fiction with the sibling being the one betraying the person. I feel like it's happened in so many of the books that I've read lately that I'm over it. Also, Taryn's like apology didn't even like seem like an apology. It was like, well, that's what dad told me to do. So like, I stabbed you in the back, no big deal. Like, I get that you're growing up in Fairy, but I guess we shouldn't even be surprised after the thing with Locke happened. I'm pretty sure my entire review for The Wicked King on Goodreads too was like, what the fuck, Taryn? Like, I just don't like her, and I will never forgive her even if Jude forgives her. I just don't really care. Like, oh, you accidentally murdered your husband and now you're pregnant? Not my problem. Although I do like that this gives us an excuse for Jude to go back to Fairy, obviously. It does seem a bit convenient, but I'll go with it. The whole like her murdering Locke thing does seem kind of like convenient and out of nowhere and just a little bit weird, but I'm willing to go with it. So then we have Jude going to Fairy to pretend to be Taryn so that she can get away with murdering her husband. No big deal. Except that she has to face Cardan for the first time and blah 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 blah. Basically what I want to talk about is chapter 7, because that's the one that I just finished, where she goes back to be alone with Cardan in his rooms, and he's like, Jude, I knew it was you the second that you walked in the door. And the second I started reading the scene, I knew where it was going, and I just started getting like, oh, he says, didn't you get my letters? That sentence just killed me. Okay, because I knew this book was gonna go one of two ways. Like, either we were totally gonna hate Cardan the entire time and we were gonna keep up with this like enemies to lovers kind of sexual tension, but we still hate each other, or it was some kind of misunderstanding, and I think it's just a misunderstanding. Then of course we don't actually find out what he was talking about, because then Jude gets pulled away, gets rescued by Maddox. But he seems so like genuinely confused as to why she's like afraid of him and doesn't trust him, and especially starting with that prologue where we see, you know, how horrible his childhood was and how his reputation is like not real. And that's where I stopped reading. I finished with chapter 7. I'm now on chapter 8. I just want to sit here and keep reading until I figure out what the heck he was talking about, but I know she's gonna draw this out for a very long time in the book because that's what they do. So yeah, we're off to a good start. I will update you later. I would just like to note that learning how hard Cardan fought for Jude to not be taken away was very important to me. How he was like using his magic to like choke the guards with vines, and like he killed like half of their men trying to not let them leave with her. This book is going to kill me, and I'm only 80 pages in. I'm already sensing the worst book hangover after this. So I'm about 100 pages in now. I'm to the part where Jude is at this camp with Maddox, and they had this little heart-to-heart, and he thinks she's Taryn still. And he's like thanking her for her loyalty and stuff. And honestly, even as like Jude pretending to be Taryn, it just makes me dislike Taryn more and more. I need to know, do you guys feel the same way about her? Am I in the minority? I just can't stand her. Even when she's like not technically in the book, hearing other people talk about her, I just can't stand her. So I just got to the part where she found that the ghost is being held prisoner by her father and that he knows his real name and that Locke knew his real name and was like able to order him around to do things. And I'm getting really nervous because look how far, I'm like almost halfway through this book. Not that much has happened yet. I'm nervous. Okay, so Oriana knows that it's Jude. This is a slight turn of events, and she's agreed to help her. And she's just talking about Carden, and every time they talk about his childhood, it just makes me sad, but I also feel like they're like laying it on a little too thick, like screaming, he has a tragic backstory to try and excuse him being an ass. Like, we get it, we know. I was literally about to make a clip complaining about how I wanted a scene with Jude and Carden together, and I just got to chapter 13 where Carden has apparently come to rescue her. I wasn't prepared for it to happen this soon. I knew this Grima Mog person was going to be important. She has come to the rescue as well with Jude's sisters. I just got to the part where she was sparring with Maddox and he stabbed her in the stomach, which is great, you know. And I'm still like getting anxious by like how little of the book I have left. I have to admit, it's pretty freaking cool that Jude was able to heal herself with the earth, like using the same powers that Carden has by like stuffing her stomach wound with leaves. Kind of gross to picture, but pretty cool. Also, kind of weird that when Maddox stabbed Jude, they both looked like so shocked that he would like actually land a killing blow, and I don't know why, for whatever reason, like I wasn't surprised at all. So Carden just announced to everyone that Jude is his wife while she's like lying bleeding on this banquet table, and everything's just casual and fine. So I'm gonna end up reading this entire book in one day, so all of my updates are going to be in this same exact spot. But I just finished chapter 18. We are now to page 167, and I finally got the scene I've been waiting for since I started the book, with Carden's explanation of what the heck happened at the end of the last book. And like, I'm satisfied, but like not blown away by this explanation. Like, I was mad so I did it to spite you, but like it wasn't for real. Like, really? We'll see. Maybe he'll redeem himself later on, but I'm not overly impressed by this explanation. And I can't get over the fact that I have like 100 pages left of this book. Like, what is this nonsense? I like that we're back with all of Jude's friends and people are like joking around with her again. I'm even like not pissed at Taryn right now. Like, I still don't like her, but like she can live, it's fine. This bitch, Carden's mother, was the one intercepting the letters, and now she's basically like, girl, he's gonna tire of you and throw you away. Like, you just got out of prison, like, know your place. I don't appreciate this. Okay, so the part where Carden is like trying to get on Taryn's good graces and like talking with her about candy and stuff, trying to impress Jude, was kind of cute. And I think how clueless Jude is sometimes is kind of funny, but also understandable because she really can't trust him half of the time. But how she's all like insecure about how he doesn't want to sleep in the same bed as her, I think he just doesn't want to until he knows that she wants him to, and that's kind of cute too. I feel so bad for Heather and this stupid deal that she made with Vivian that she's gonna have to forget everything once they leave Fairy, but I also like that Carden made everyone stop like doubting and disrespecting Jude by basically implying that if they didn't, she would murder them. And we also had the part where the ghost came back and it turns out Tara knows his real name, so now he's not a threat, at least for now. And we're getting to the end of the book, and if I don't have another meaningful scene with Jude and Carden, I'm gonna be really upset. I swear I must be psychic, because literally right after I filmed that clip, the very next scene that I wrote was them having sex. I don't know, I'm kind of like underwhelmed so far, and I'm disappointed that I'm underwhelmed so far. So we're having all of this talk about how Maddox is coming and he wants a duel with Carden, and Carden's not a good swordsman, so they all know he shouldn't do it. But you know, they wouldn't keep mentioning this if that's not what's gonna happen, and you know he's gonna somehow use Jude against him, and I am just bracing myself for however this is going to play out. I am cackling. This scene of Carden literally breaking his crown in half, how can you picture anything but that scene in Mean Girls where she breaks the crown apart? I'm sorry, it's just ruining the dramatic effect of the scene. I can't. So I just finished that chapter and I'm not laughing anymore. There's still like a decent chunk of the book yet, and I'm so desensitized to stuff like this from all of the stupid books that have all of these loopholes. When characters die, they always come back, so I never actually believe anyone dies anymore. So now that Carden's this gigantic serpent, I'm just like, nah, they're gonna change him back, it's fine. But if they don't, if I get to the end of this book and they don't, I will riot and I will not be okay. But I will say I didn't see that one coming. That was a good twist. I knew something was gonna happen if he broke the crown because of like the whole foreshadowing with the curses and stuff, but I should have guessed the snake with the stupid cover. Okay, I'm really glad someone told you not to put her hair on the thing before putting it on the snake, because I knew there was no way that they just told her the truth and didn't try to trick her, and she just believed it so readily, and I was just like, you can't be this stupid. Cardan's back. We're good. I'm not even mad that I guessed what was gonna happen. Like, I'm not mad because I'm happy that he's still alive. But as soon as they kept dwelling on like, out of his blood will come another ruler, he has to die, blah 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 blah, I'm like, he's gonna like do some weird shit and come back to life, isn't he? I don't know if any of you guys ever watched True Blood, but did you see that season where that like goddess that they were all seeing when they were all drinking vampire blood and like that cult thing, the woman kept like appearing naked, drenched in blood? That's what I was picturing him as. I finished the book. I don't even know what time it is. How long have I been sitting here? It's about 8 o'clock. The epilogue was really cute. I liked the epilogue. Seeing Cardan in the mortal world. It was cute. Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. I think I'm gonna sleep on it and I'll film my final clip for this vlog tomorrow after I've gotten my thoughts together and stuff. I'm impressed that I managed to finish this in a day and get other things accomplished in the meantime. And I'm sad that the series is over and I'm not gonna have another book. So yeah, we'll talk tomorrow after I have gathered my thoughts. Good morning, everyone. It's the next day. So I actually wrote my review for Goodreads this morning, so I'm going to pull that up to refer back to it, but also just kind of sum up this reading vlog and talk about this book a little bit. I would love it if you guys would leave down in the comments what your thoughts of this book were, but just try and be mindful about spoilers because some people might click onto this video without having read the book. So if you're gonna put spoilers, like, you can just try and put like some blank lines or something in your comments so people don't see the spoilers if you would not mind. Don't want to ruin this book for anyone who does not want to be spoiled. So let's start with my Goodreads review. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, more like a 3.75 stars. I'm pretty happy with that rating. I was going back and forth on what I wanted to give it, but I feel like that one seems right. So basically what I said was that I really enjoyed the book. Obviously, I read it in a day. I couldn't put it down. I had fun reading it, and it had like all of the elements in it that I wanted to be in the book. So it's not like it didn't happen the way I wanted to, or it was like missing specific things, but I was disappointed in the execution of those elements, if that makes sense. And like, you guys heard me talking about how I was like wary because of the size of the book, and if the book had felt complete and fully fleshed out and stuff, like, I wouldn't have given the size another thought. But the reason why I was worried about the size is because the story did feel short, and it felt like things moved too fast, and it felt like it was kind of rushed, and there were certain moments that like I wanted to linger on them more. I felt like we just like glossed over important moments, important character moments. We just kind of like skated through them, and there were some things that I had been waiting so long for. I wanted to hit home really hard, but I felt like emotionally detached during parts that I should not have been emotionally detached. And this is coming from a place where I am fully aware that I am picky and hard to please when it comes to the last book in a series, because the last book in a series is almost always my least favorite book in a series. I'm trying to think of like any exceptions, and I can think of The Infernal Devices because I loved Clockwork Princess. The Lunar Chronicles did a pretty good job. I liked Winter. I'm looking at all of the series on my shelf. Yeah, but for the most part, the last book in a series is typically my least favorite book in the series. However, this one, just as a book, not even just as the last book in a series, just as a book itself, left me feeling kind of underwhelmed and disappointed. And for one thing, I don't know if you guys have the physical versions. If you line them all up, this is the smallest of all of the books. And the thing is, I've felt this way with some of Holly Black's books in the past. For example, The Darkest Part of the Forest I read earlier this year, and I felt like that book was very vague, and it was like the bare bones of the book, and I wanted more details and I wanted more depth to it, and this one kind of gave me a similar vibe as that one. Like, it was just out of reach to being like super good. I just needed a little bit more of everything. So I still love the series. I still really enjoyed reading this book, but it wasn't the like mind-blowing conclusion that I was hoping it was going to be, which can easily like make or break a series for me. Like, I look back on series that I thought were going to be my favorites, and if they didn't land that last book, they didn't land the ending, those series have just kind of become not my favorites anymore. Like, I'm kind of indifferent towards them, which is kind of sad. I think that was what was most disappointing about this book, was like the lost potential. I feel like I'm making it sound like it was really bad and I really didn't enjoy it, but if you watch this vlog, like, you can tell I enjoyed the book. It's hard going into the last book on a series that you love, because of course you're gonna have like super high expectations, and realistically, like, it would be impossible for any author to meet my crazy high expectations. So I'm glad I read it. I'll still definitely recommend the series. There's things about it that I liked, but I'm disappointed, and I could have done with even just like 50 more pages. And it's not like I didn't like where it left off. I mean like 50 pages like interspersed throughout the book to like beef up the parts that felt too sparse, if that makes sense. It's weird because I feel like I got more emotional impact from like the Jude and Cardin scenes in the first two books, and this is where it's supposed to like come to a head. Their scenes together were like the least satisfying in this book of all of the books, like maybe because there weren't very many of them or because they were really short and lacking in like the details and stuff, but I wanted to feel more. For how like exciting the ending was with like high stakes and this huge serpent, and we don't know if we're gonna get Cardin back. I felt like it like dragged on for like 70 pages of them just like walking around like trying to figure out what they were gonna do. So it was like, of the space that was in this book, of the 300 pages, she didn't use the space for the parts that I wanted her to. Like she lingered on parts that I felt like didn't need to be lingered on, and then she rushed through parts that I felt like needed more time. I don't know if any of this is making sense. But yeah, those are my thoughts on The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. Thanks so much for watching this vlog if you've stayed here to the end. If you're new here, I would love it if you would subscribe. I put up at least 2 new videos every single week. All my links are down below in the description if you want to go follow me elsewhere, like Instagram, check out my freelance services, pick up a copy of my book, all of that good stuff. And if you like this video, I would appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up because it helps out my channel a lot. But other than that, I think I'll just see you guys in my next video very, very soon. Bye.
So hit me. So hit me. So hit me. First a confession. With you, I feel a connection. With